Gus, 30 seconds ago, you talked about engagement, and that was going to be my second question for you today.
Sure.
You get loads of engagement on LinkedIn, and one of the top things I'm always asked is, how can I get more engagement on my posts? How can I make that happen? What should I be posting to make that happen? What else can I do to make that happen? So can you talk to us a little bit about, how much time you spend on LinkedIn, what kinds of things you focus your efforts on, and what it is you think that ultimately generates that kind of engagement for you?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I think engagement is the number one reason to use LinkedIn. It's, in terms of to really make the most of it, whether you're a candidate or a business owner or, whoever. And I think, particularly to answer your question in terms of time spent, I have a slot in my diary every day, 9 till 9:30. I spend 30 minutes on the platform every single morning. Now, it works differently for different people. I know some people kind of do it in the evening. Some people only look at LinkedIn on the weekends or whatever it may be. But because LinkedIn is my number one source of leads, I make sure that I spend some time on the platform every single day. Now, when I say 30 minutes every morning, that's the outward engagement. That's not me creating posts or writing stuff for myself, etc. I normally post roughly twice a week, there or thereabouts kind of thing. And I make sure it's engaging. I make sure it's about something that I do or something that's jovial or, whatever. I have two content pillars, as we call them. So basically make people laugh or make people think. And so they're kind of the how people kind of engage with me and the kind of content that I think my audience wants to read. But my engagement really grew once I started reciprocating, once I started spending 30 minutes every morning going through the feed and engaging with content that I want to engage with. That's either content that I like, content that I think is funny, content that's from my ideal clients, content where I'm learning something, et cetera, et cetera. It's all about the outward stuff. Because the way the algorithm works, I mean, to be honest, nobody understands algorithms, regardless of what marketers tell you. But there are little bits that you can kind of influence. And I think one of the easiest ways to influence the LinkedIn algorithm is to do outward engagement with the people that you want to speak to. Because the long and short of it is, you engage with somebody, the next time you post, it's more than likely that your post is going to feature in their feed, basically. And hopefully it's good enough for them to read and like and comment on and all that kind of stuff. And we could talk about loads of other stuff like dwell time. So LinkedIn has this feature where if you create great content, if people spend a lot of time on your profile, it's more than likely that that content is going to be shared even wider by the LinkedIn algorithm and all that kind of stuff. But to answer your question, 30 minutes every morning, outward engagement, liking and commenting on content that I want to engage with. It's not, and I don't mean inane comments as going through everybody's post and writing great post. Don't do that. That's terrible advice. Yeah, good outward engagement is, I think, how the engagement comes back to me, if you know what I mean.
And there's two things I'd really pick up on from that, Gus. Thank you for sharing those pointers. The first is it is reciprocal. If you think about yourself on any social platform, not just LinkedIn, and you think about who you tend to engage with, if people have recently interacted with some of your posts or, added an extra bit of insight or asked a question on your post, you recognize that person's name and photo. And the next time you see something in the feed from them, you are more inclined to go the extra mile and comment on their post.
Yeah.
So from human nature point of view, it's the case that, it's reciprocal. The more you engage with other people's posts, the more they're going to engage with you. But also then LinkedIn reinforces that. So, the LinkedIn algorithm every day is presented with the challenge of, you've got this many 100 or 1,000 connections. There's this huge number of posts that we could show you in your homepage feed. Which ones should we prioritize showing you?
Yeah.
And one of the things that obviously the site is looking at is who are your most important connections. We want to help you see more content from the people you're really interested in and less content from the people you're not so bothered about. And one of the key indicators of that is, have the two of you been interacting with each other recently on posts? or messages or looking at each other's profiles. And then LinkedIn knows to show more of that to, to each of you. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, particularly, so for example, I see a lot of your content, Tony, and you see a lot of mine, because I think we engage with each other. Now, just on that point, we might not be each other's ideal clients, but our networks are, because your network will see my stuff and think, oh, I need to be trained on social media. And my network might see your stuff and say, I need somebody to manage my social media. So it works kind of hand in hand. So don't ever think that you should only engage with ideal clients. Sometimes it's about who has the right networks and where you can kind of collaborate. I speak to a lot of, for example, Facebook ads managers, Google ad managers, website developers, et cetera, who are not my ideal clients, but all their networks are my ideal clients, and obviously vice versa. So it's, engage with content that you want to, as opposed, don't kind of, don't try and game the algorithm. But just on one thing, I've got another note here about a lot of LinkedIn marketers will tell you to grow your network and then engage with that network. Don't ever forget the network that you are already connected to. A lot of people connect to new people on a kind of regular basis, just trying to grow their numbers, and they forget about the people that they're already connected to, kind of thing. And it's like real life networking. You go into a room and you hand out your business cards, but if there's somebody that you met at the last event, you kind of ignore them because you think, well, I've already spoken to them, etc. But they might be your ideal client. So don't forget the existing network that you already have and go out and network, rather than trying to curate a much larger audience of people who might not be interested in you, kind of thing. It's, you have ready-made warm audience, people who are already connected to you.